Morning, guys. We are about to go shopping at BJ's Wholesale Club, and we are looking at 7 low-calorie, high-protein, high-fiber breakfast options because I have coached thousands of people to get in the best shape of their life, real people with careers and families. And there's a couple factors about breakfast that I find really make it challenging for people to make the right nutritional decisions. I think 1, your kids are running around, you're getting yourself ready for work. And then 2, breakfast is just a little bit limited when it comes to traditional food choices that are actually high in protein. So we're gonna head into BJ's and I'm gonna show you 7 options that are gonna get the job done quickly. And at the same time, allow you to get out of the gate hitting your nutritional goals like protein, because a lot of people, again, they struggle to get enough protein with breakfast. And if you don't get enough protein at breakfast, you're gonna end the day falling short in your protein goal. And then 2, making sure that you get fiber, because fiber is gonna allow you to feel full and it's gonna prevent you from late at night rummaging through the cupboards and eating your kids' food. So let's go into BJ's, let's get some shopping done. First option we're looking at for breakfast is going to be Greek yogurt. Typically when I select Greek yogurt, I'm looking for non-fat and I'm looking for no sugar added. So right here we have non-fat plain Greek yogurt by Chobani. It's an excellent choice, having 90 calories, 16 grams of protein. I have what I call the protein test. This is going to allow you to keep your calories down while hitting your protein goal. This has 16 grams of protein. We're gonna add a 0 to it. Does it have 160 calories or less? In this case, it has 90 calories, so this passes our protein test. And then we're gonna look at the sugar. It has 6 grams of sugar, but that's total sugar. The sugar from this is coming from lactose. It has 0 grams of added sugar, and that's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about table sugar, what also is referred to as sucrose, in my Greek yogurt. So this is a great way to start your day. And then along with it, I'm gonna have some berries, because berries are incredibly high in fiber and also rich in antioxidants. For most of our meals, we're gonna be trying to couple it with fruit or vegetables because they're high volume foods, which means a lot of food for very little calories, will also be very rich in micronutrients, fiber, vitamins, minerals, well, again, being low in calorie. Now, with the berries, with the Greek yogurt, all in, for a good sized portion, you're gonna be around 400 calories. If you need more food for your first meal of the day, something like almond butter, something like chia seeds, even something like cacao, that dark chocolate, as long as it's 70% or greater cacao, is a great way to add additional nutrients to your Greek yogurt. But the base of it, berries, Greek yogurt, excellent way to start your day, one of my go-to breakfast options.
My name's Jacob Zemer, and I've helped thousands of people get in the best shape of their life. There are plenty of apps out there that focus on your training or your nutrition or even your health. However, very few apps address all 3 aspects. And in order to get in the best shape, you must address all of them. For that reason, my app has an educational program that will teach you about preventative health, blood work, cardiovascular activity, along with providing custom training for as many days as you can commit to and the exact gym equipment you have available. Also, you will have a tailored nutrition plan based on your unique physiology. I wanted something that everyone could afford. All of this is available for $1 a day on my website. Right now, if you click the link in bio under app, there's a 7-day free trial. I'm looking forward to helping you change your life.
Second option we're looking at is a protein smoothie. Conveniently here at BJ's, they have Fairlife milk. I'm gonna go with the non-fat option. 80 calories, 13 grams of protein. Again, this passes our protein test, and 0 grams of added sugar. And then I'm gonna add some whey protein. They have several brands here. Just make sure that you get a complete protein source. We don't wanna be using collagen. And to that, I'm going to add a berry blend again, but this time banana berry. And that's just simply personal preference. I find that whenever you add a banana to a smoothie, it gives it a really great texture. So between the protein from the Fairlife milk, the protein from the whey protein, And then the fiber from this banana berry blend, again, an amazing way to start your day, keeping the calories down, getting the protein up, and getting enough fiber in. For my coaching clients, I recommend at least 10 grams of fiber per 500 calories you eat. So if you're on a 1,500 calorie a day diet, you should be getting at least 30 grams of fiber a day. And the best way to get those sources of fiber is incorporating fruit and vegetables into your diet. Now, if this isn't enough calories, if you're looking for something that's like a 500, 600 calorie meal, again, you can then add almond butter or cacao powder as long as it's 70% greater. Or you could also add those chia seeds that we talked about. One thing that I want to note, there's recently been a lot of fear mongering about whey protein because whey protein does have some metallics in it. But the reality is so does seafood and so does dark chocolate. As long as you're not having 3+ scoops of whey protein a day, it's perfectly fine to incorporate this into your diet. Nutrition is all about moderation. And if you're having more than 21 scoops of whey protein a week, it's time to hire somebody like me, a coach, to help you get your nutrition in order because there's better ways to hit your protein every day. However, whey protein is a great option to help supplement your protein goals. For options number 3 and 4, they're going to involve eggs. I want to first talk about some options when buying eggs. We have free-range eggs here. We have pasture-raised eggs down here, and then you have your traditional eggs. The difference between these 3 eggs is nominal. The pasture-raised is the most ideal, followed by the cage-free or free-range eggs. It's just a matter of the ALA content. That's the omega-3 content. The translation into the health markers in your body are very minimal. The reason I tell you that is if you are price sensitive, if you're concerned about the price of eggs, just buy traditional eggs. If you can afford the pasture-raised, obviously that is ideal, but the ALA difference in how it's going to translate to your health markers is very insignificant, especially if you're getting plenty of seafood, EPA and DHA, other forms of omega-3s. I wouldn't get caught up in buying the most expensive eggs. Now, let's get into options. Option number 3 is going to be a traditional egg omelet. However, to our eggs, we're going to add either low-fat or non-fat cottage cheese. And the reason I like this is going to help increase the protein content while at the same time really improving the flavor. And to our eggs, we then want to add a vegetable. In this case, I like spinach, which I would steam down and then add to my omelet, and maybe even perhaps use spinach as a side salad. There are a lot of vegetables that you can obviously use for your omelet. Broccoli is a great option. Brussels sprouts are a great option. The reason I particularly like spinach, besides the fact that it is rich in an antioxidant known as sulforaphane, I just also find that it's very easy to cook down and add into an omelet where you're not having to bite through a bunch of things in the middle of your eggs. If you'd like to add some cheese, you of course can do so. I have Parmesan here, 20 calories, 2 grams of protein, passes our protein test. I've also seen fat-free feta cheese. I think either of those are an awesome option. And you can find various forms of skim cheese, not your traditional whole fat cheese, that is going to be closer to passing our protein test so we can keep the calories down while hitting our protein goal. The 4th option for you is going to be a burrito, and for that we're going to use a Mission Carb Wrap. This Mission Carb Wrap, 80 calories, 5 grams of protein, doesn't pass our protein test, but why we're interested in it is it has 14 grams of fiber. And I find products like this to be similar to whey protein in that it helps supplement your goals. Think about whey protein, a supplement to help hit your protein goal. This Mission Carb Wrap is gonna help me hit my fiber goal. And to that, again, I'm gonna use my eggs, and then I can use some deli meat to again increase the total amount of protein. Our 5th option is going to be my take on lox on a bagel. So we're looking at salmon here at BJ's, and we're going to talk about a couple of the principles we mentioned earlier. The first, I mentioned that pasteurized eggs is not an ideal way to get omega-3s into your diet. That's because they're coming from ALA. Whereas here with the salmon, it's coming from EPA and DHA, and this is an awesome way to incorporate omega-3s in your diet. But something also that I drew attention to was that seafood, like dark chocolate, like whey protein, can be high in metallics. So it's very important that we select a wild-caught option of smoked salmon, at the very least a Norwegian farm-raised version of smoked salmon. So looking here, We have smoked salmon. However, this is farm raised locally, so for that reason, I would not purchase it. We have more smoked salmon, again, farm raised. And then we have wild caught sockeye smoked salmon. And so for that reason, this would be the salmon that I am going to select because this is going to have the least amount of metallics. Flipping around to the back here, we have 80 calories, we have 14 grams of protein, passes our protein test. All of the fat in this is coming from polyunsaturated fat. So the fat in this is completely healthy and coming from omega-3s. And then again, we want to couple it with a high fiber option. Arroyo, Hero, Dave's, they all offer a high fiber bagel option. Fortunately, they don't sell it here at BJ's. So my recommendation, buy your bagels elsewhere. But I do want to leave you with a BJ's option, even though it is an English muffin. So we're gonna go with Thomas Light Multi-Grain. This is 100 calories with 8 grams of fiber, which is a ton of fiber. And they do this by enriching the wheat flour. Again, think about this as a way to supplement your total amount of fiber. The main source of fiber should always be single ingredient foods, primarily coming from fruit and vegetables, but something like this will really help you hit your fiber goal. For our 6th option, we are gonna have protein pancakes, and we're gonna use these Kodiak Power Cakes, but we're gonna modify the recipe for 2 reasons. The first, it doesn't pass our protein test. 220 calories, 15 grams of protein. And the second issue is that not all of the protein is bioavailable. In fact, only about half of it is. And that's because a lot of the protein is coming from wheat protein, despite the fact that it also has whey protein concentrate. So to it, we are going to add egg whites instead of water. So whereas this recipe calls for water, use egg whites. And the reason that I prefer to use egg whites over adding whey protein is because I think the whey protein will give it too thick of a texture, and the egg whites will help this be completely bioavailable. And then of course, we are going to add fruit to it. In this case, I like blueberries, but any berry will do. I just really have a thing for blueberry pancakes. And our 7th and final option for a high protein, high fiber breakfast is actually the most convenient. It's going to be a pre-made shake with some fruit. So we've got here Fairlife Core Power, we've got here Fairlife Nutrition Plan, we've got Slate, and we've also got Quest Protein Milkshake. All 4 of these are ultra filtered milk pre-made shake options. And then over here we have Oikos, we have BJ's own brand, Wesley Farms, and we've also got Premier Protein. And all 3 of these are your traditional whey protein pre-made shake. All of these pass our protein test. All of these are super convenient. It just depends on how much protein you're looking to get per container and also your preference in taste. The other factor you do want to consider is that obviously Oikos, Fairlife, they use plastic. And if you're concerned about microplastics, which you should be, something like the Wesley brand, something like the Slate brand, obviously is going to have way less microplastics. What we also want to make sure when we're grabbing one of these protein shakes is that we grab some fruit alongside it, again, for that fiber. So apples, oranges, they're very convenient fruits that you can take with you on the go and are not going to create a lot of mess. So that is our 7th and final option for breakfast. My name's Jacob Ziemer. I've helped thousands of real people lose real weight on my coaching program. If you want to learn more about my services, you can go to jacobziemer.com. I put out long format content each and every single week here on YouTube, put out short format content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram daily, and it surrounds health, fitness, and nutrition. I hope that this video made an impact on your breakfast.